to the women's uneven bars competition, and these are the 8 that have made it through to the final. And how exciting, a young athlete making their international debut has come along as the top performer after the qualification phase, and really the top performer by some way. Really, for everybody else, if she performs as she did in qualification, Qiu Qiyuan, where she was over a mark better than the second best performer, then she's going to leave everybody else really just trying plaintively to pluck a lemon from the tree, because it's going to be her competition in terms of the difficulty that she has in her arsenal.
And these, ladies and gentlemen, are the 8 finalists. Representing Ukraine, Hubareva.
First to go will be Hubareva of Ukraine, 5th best in qualification. World Cup medalist on the uneven bars. Kaia Tanskanen of Finland will be second to go. Then Natalie Westlund from Sweden, the reigning Nordic champion. Jana Mahmoud of Egypt, followed by Serita Mikako of Japan, 2nd best in qualification, silver medalist at the national championships. Qiu Qiyuan of the People's Republic of China, top qualifier and international debutant. Georgia Rose Brown of Australia, 6th best in qualification. 5 medals she's won at World Cup level on the uneven bars. And we finish with Anna Lashchevska of Ukraine, 3rd best in qualification. Just her 2nd senior international competition. The start list for the women's uneven bars final. The top performer in qualification, international debutant Qiu Qiyuan of the People's Republic of China. She'll go 6th in the order, and really everything will be dependent on what this young athlete is able to do, because it's in her hands to win it. So high is her difficulty. Her execution was pretty stellar as well. 2nd best was Serita Mikako.
On the highest podium so far, with the gold medals for the Philippines and France in the first session of the day. And now bronze, gold medal for Kazakhstan. Who will win the golds here on uneven bars?
If you're just joining the action now, welcome to the Aspire Dome in Doha. Just coming up beyond 6 p.m. local time. Friday, very much a family day in Doha. It starts very quiet around the city. Time of rest in the morning, and then it's a really lovely atmosphere this time of year in the city. Get lots of families going out for a late lunch or an early dinner, journeying around the markets or walking around the seafront area. Weather-wise, it's very much the winter in the Middle East, but that leads to temperatures in the high 20s. Really very agreeable, actually, for a nice gentle walk around the city. Good to see a lot of spectators filling up this large arena, or filling it up as best they can. It is a very big space, the Aspire Dome.
And this is Jana Mahmoud,
And I think we're in for some enjoyable action in this women's uneven bars final. But as mentioned earlier, it really will be dictated by the performance of Qiu Qiyuan in terms of the destination of the gold medal. If she gets her full difficulty, she can probably still handle an unintentional dismount from the apparatus and contend for a medal.
Time to rock and roll. First finalist.
We begin the women's uneven bars final.
Ukraine. Here is Hubareva.
Representing Ukraine, Yelizaveta Hubareva, 5th best in qualification with 12.9. Stolda Shaposhnikova to transition into the pack salto. And the Maloney was well executed. Straddle Jaeger, all looking good so far. A nice secure beginning from Yelizaveta Hubareva of Ukraine. Won her first ever World Cup medal on the uneven bars in Turkey in the 2021 season. No real problems for her in that performance.
First routine on this uneven bars final. Help from the coach. And then she will go straight to that kissing cries of
Will be a Ukrainian to finish this final as well in Anna Lashchevska, I should say.
some of the replays on the big screen.
So a look back at this performance from Yelizaveta Hubareva, employing the Stolda Shaposhnikova. Pack salto was securely administered. Then the toe on Shaposhnikova, the Maloney. Just wondering, did she... wondering for a moment if she actually had contact on the bar as she transitioned, but I think that was a trick of the eye. And then a double tuck with a nice symmetry to finish and well controlled landing. So a lot to enjoy about that from Yelizaveta Hubareva.
And there comes the score.
13 better than qualification by a single tenth. Her execution up and the first marker laid down for everybody else. We head now to Kaia Tanskanen of Finland, gymnast who was the 8th strongest in qualification with a score of 12.4.
Here's the exercise of Kaia Tanskanen.
17-year-old from Michigan in the United States of America, made her debut at the World Championships in Liverpool and her European Championship debut in Munich just before. Just came down a little under the bar. And the Ginger. But she too has a fairly stable looking routine. It'll be interesting to compare the execution to Hubareva, who produced a 7.7. That was Tanskanen's score in qualification.
Kaia Tanskanen is a young gymnast. She's only 17. She was born in the United States in Michigan.
First uneven bars World Cup final for the teenager.
I think this is only the second time that we see her in the final of a World Cup. The first time was last year in Paris on vault. Well, she can add an uneven bars final to her resume as well. Kaia Tanskanen, representing Finland.
She qualified in 8th position. Lowest difficulty of any of the qualifiers, but competitive execution.
And there comes the score of Kaia.
11.5 for Kaia Tanskanen, execution of 7. And her difficulty is down by 2/10 from qualification 2. Natalie Westlund of Sweden. 17-year-old, the reigning Nordic champion on the uneven bars and the 4th best in qualification. A purposeful transition from low to high. Again, nice looking pack salto. And Leuven keeps the swingfulness going. Sets up for the Jaeger somersault. Into the Kachev. Ooh, a little overbalanced. Has to rethink. Well, the layout work to dismount looked very nice. A lot about that, really tidy from Natalie Westlund. She has a sense of swingfulness to her work, but had that difficult moment in the handstand position.
17 years old. It's the first time, not the first time, the second time in her career that she qualifies for the uneven bars final.
Maloney transition early on.
First time
Pretty quickly into a nice looking pack salto.
And this is the second time. Well, Lashchevska was actually not a World Cup, it was a World Challenge Cup, but still.
And there, the additional half turn, turning Maloney to Van Leuven.
It's the very first time that we see her in Doha, Natalie Westlund.
The double layout had an assured landing. Now she had a 13.266 in qualification. That would put her into the lead, and it's very close to it. 13.233. So a new leader in Natalie Westlund. Yet to win a World Cup medal. Jana Mahmoud of Egypt. The 18-year-old from the city of Giza. She is a two-time African champion. Oh, gosh. Well, that was a really uncomfortable landing, and she has shown unbelievable strength to keep going, and then having been too close to the bar on the catch, if she's too far on the Jaeger. Oh, that is a bruising start for poor old Jana Mahmoud. She's just not quite judging her approach to the bar right on each occasion. She was very close to the low bar as she came in from that pack salto. Tell you what, boy, has she got some core strength to keep on the apparatus. And again, she's right under the bar. She's not going to win a medal, but no one's going to fight harder to stay on the apparatus than Jana Mahmoud did there. Golly.
Thank you so much for your support, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure Jana appreciates that a lot.
Amazing, amazing physical strength. Sometimes the technique deserts you, but the fight never does with her. That could have been very nasty, and she thought quickly. She thought very quickly. And it really established a trend in this routine where her trajectory judgment was a little off on each occasion. There, for example, comes plumb under the bar and has so much core strength needed to pull back up. But I maintain what I said earlier, you cannot fight much harder than she did. Well done to her. Grit. Real grit. She made the uneven bars final in the Doha World Cup of 2021 in her first full senior year. So this is quite a special competition for her. A lot of memories in the Aspire Dome.
Well, this was maybe not Jana's routine she was hoping for, but she will give it another try next week at the World Cup in Azerbaijan.
8.566 for Jana Mahmoud.
Her score.
Loses quite a lot of her difficulty, almost 1.5 marks from qualification. That takes us to the halfway point, and let's reflect on the leaderboard. Kaia Tanskanen of Finland in third position. Elizaveta Hubareva of Ukraine in second place and leading the way on 13.233. Natalie Westlund of Sweden. But we have to come the second in qualification and the top performer in qualification. And there she is. Qiu Qiyuan, 14.766. Below her and ahead of her in the running order, Serita Mikako of Japan, 13.633. It's going to be exciting to see Qiu Qiyuan's display.
Georgia Rose Brown, who represents Australia.
Seasoned World Cup medalist in Georgia Rose Brown, the 27-year-old from Brisbane. Five times she's been on a World Cup podium, all of them bronze. And the last gymnast to warm up, Jana Lashchevska.
Now we will lower the bars again for final competitor in this uneven bars final.
Yes, as I'm sure you will understand, there has to be a bar raise for Georgia Rose Brown. Now the bars returned to a height more conducive to Jana Lashchevska, who made her senior international debut at the Doha World Cup, and this is her first international final.
Let's go to Japan with Mikako Serita.
The second half of the women's uneven bars final then. Leading the way is Natalie Westlund on 13.233. 13 is the mark for silver, Elizaveta Hubareva, and 11.5 for bronze, Kaia Tanskanen. We have now got the top two in qualification to go one after t'other. Along with that, the sixth and third best in qualification. So this, the business end in every respect of the women's uneven bars final. A 19-year-old who makes her senior international debut, Serita Mikako, silver medalist at the All Japan Championships last year. It's nicely connected work, release and regrasp into the pack salto. Van Leuven has admirable swingfulness. Big Jaeger somersault. Just came up a little short in the handstand position. But that's very good from Serita Mikako. Some high difficulty compared to what we've seen so far due to the connections, due to the insertion of twisting work into the dismount as well as the tuck position. And so she's made a good case to go into the lead. The straight Kachev straight into the pack salto. That might be the first connected release and regrasp into a transition from high to low that we've seen so far in the final. My memory serves me correctly.
19 years old, Mikako Serita. She was born in the city of Chiba.
This was controlled gymnastics from the teenager. It might be quite tight. Oh, she's not quite into the lead. 13.233. Westlund holds on, and essentially Serita is 0.3 up on difficulty. Westlund is 0.3 up on execution. Now one wonders if Serita will inquire about that, because she's a 10th down on her difficulty from qualification. We'll come back to that. Qiu Qiyuan of the People's Republic of China. Top performer by some way in qualifying, 14.766. Senior international debut. This is a belter of a routine. Well, I said earlier that if she gets all of her difficulties, she could come off the apparatus and still challenge for a medal. That may be put to the test. That time she's there. Oh, it's not happening today. That's such a shame. Well, she's only 15. Youngest in the final, the young athlete from Fujian. And it's not just her international debut at senior level. She never competed overseas as a junior either. This is a huge occasion for her. Hasn't she got some great work on this piece? At the moment we're seeing it in small doses. Oh, it's a beautiful dismount as well to conclude the routine. What a tough day for a great young athlete. And your first international final can do funny things to you. There'll be many elite athletes watching this who know exactly how that feels. Just wasn't quite there with the first release and regrasp, and that must have been very unsettling to her. Oh, and by the way, she's actually best known for her balance beam work domestically. She's the reigning Chinese champion on the beam, and if you're going to win the Chinese title on anything and make a statement, make it balance beam.
Next time will be better for her. Qiu Qiyuan from China.
There's no disguising the fact this has been far from the final that she hoped it would be. But there's also no disguising that she's got a lot of potential, and when someone's 15, we have to talk about potential more than about performance, because it's the start of the journey.
If Natalie Westlund would win a medal here in Doha, it would be the first World Cup medal in her career.
We await the score with Westlund leading, Serita in second place, Hubareva in third. 2 to go after this. Georgia Rose Brown and Anna Lashchevska. Probably quite a complicated routine for the judges to assess, particularly in determination of the difficulty score. 6.4 was the difficulty score in qualification for Qiu Qiyuan. After this, we still have the men's rings final to bring you to conclude the first day of competition at the Doha World Cup.
And there comes the score.
11.633. Well, I think that tells you a lot. Look at the difficulty, 6.1, the highest we've seen. And she still managed to go into fourth position despite coming off the apparatus, what was it, 3 times? That's a routine that packs a punch. And huge congratulations to Natalie Westlund of Sweden, who's won her first ever World Cup medal. She leads with 2 to go. Georgia Rose Brown of Australia, 27-year-old from Queensland. 6th best in qualification. Stolda Shaposhnikova to begin. Into a pack salto that is calmly performed. Maloney sets up for the Ginga. Straddle Jaeger comes down a little under the bar but just keeps it going neatly. No, just couldn't quite hold that. That was really unfortunate. And so now it looks very likely that Serita Mikako of Japan will also take a medal. She's displayed tremendous longevity in her career, Georgia Rose Brown. She's in extraordinary physical condition, as you would expect from a doctoral candidate in physiotherapy. Doesn't she wrap around nicely in the tuck position, shows real agility in that dismount. Very nearly there from Georgia Rose Brown.
Georgia Rose Brown, an experienced athlete from Brisbane in Australia.
Gymnast who won her first national title in 2011.
Medals in her career, World Championship medals. No World Cup medals. And 5 times it was a bronze medal. She has her own accessories brand called Artyom Sport. Georgia Rose Brown.
Early on, the Stolda Shaposhnikova, she went smoothly into the pack salto. And then the toe-on variation of the Shaposhnikova, the Maloney.
Which has been rejected. It means that Mikako did not agree with the difficulty score that she got. But the judges have another opinion on that.
Just had to build the swingfulness up again. Nice dismount though. 12.466 for Georgia Rose Brown. 4th position, down by just under a tenth from qualification. Now, Serita Mikako did inquire the difficulty score, which I speculated she might do, but there has, so we understand, been no change. So Westlund now will win at least a silver medal. Serita Mikako is guaranteed to at least take the bronze. Now we go to Anna Lashchevska of Ukraine, the last to perform, 3rd best with 13.3. That would win this final. What a good display so far. Nice smooth Jaeger somersault. She looks well in control of this performance. Well done to Anna Lashchevska of Ukraine to conclude the uneven bars final.
Anna Lashchevska from Ukraine.
Certainly has made herself part of this conversation.
From the coach. And then quickly to that kissing cry zone where she will wait for her score. Natalie Westlund and Mikako.
Now, is it going to be enough to go ahead of Natalie Westlund of Sweden? 15-year-old who is making her maiden appearance in a World Cup final. really good straddle position in that Jaeger. Got very nice toe points and keeping the heels pressed together, so she minimises a lot of the deduction. She should challenge, and she has actually done more than challenge. She's won it, and she's won it well. 13.5, Anna Lashchevska. And for the first time ever, Natalie Westlund of Sweden is on a World Cup podium. She takes silver ahead of Serita Mikako. The classified results in the uneven bars competition: Serita Mikako of Japan losing out on the execution tie-break to Natalie Westlund of Sweden, both of them winning their first ever World Cup medals, as does Anna Lashchevska. She goes one better, she takes the title, the 15-year-old in her first ever international final. The victory ceremony for the uneven bars competition at the Doha World Cup of Artistic Gymnastics. And 3 first-time World Cup medalists.
Third place and bronze medal winner representing Japan, Mikako Serita.
Serita Mikako of Japan, in her senior international debut, wins her first ever World Cup honours.
And silver medalist. Just wait until the medal is on its place. Second place and silver medalist from Sweden, Natalie Westlund.
Natalie Westlund of Sweden wins the silver medal. The Nordic champion has just won her first World Cup honours.
And gold medalist representing Ukraine, Jana Lashchevska.
But the third best performer in qualification has taken the title, a 15-year-old by the name of Anna Lashchevska, a Ukrainian who really produced an excellent display. She scored 13.5 and she wins the gold.
Ladies, congratulations. Let's make a picture with the 3 medal winners and with Mr. Al-Jabir, the principal of Aspire Academy, Mr. Al-Fakr, the general service manager of Aspire Academy, with Mr.
The medalists in the women's uneven bars competition at the Doha World Cup.
The president of the Qatar Gymnastics Federation and the International Gymnastics Federation.
3 first-time World Cup medalists. What a proud moment for all of them. What a lovely podium that is to see. True history-making moment at the World Cup.